Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
You thought the football season was all over? Think again. We've got international football this weekend. I'm Bruce Millington, and in the company of Mark Langdon and Joe Champion, plus from Paddy Power, Adrian Croak, we are looking ahead to all the international World Cup qualifiers and friendlies. Hopefully there's some decent bets going on. Chaps, I have to admit, I honestly didn't know Scotland were playing England in a World Cup qualifier until yesterday. And I wasn't alone either. There's so much apathy about this fixture, isn't it? It's really weird, isn't it, Mark?
Well, I think because we've come off the back of such a busy, well, I suppose it's just a normal football season, but it feels busier than ever. I think because of how much football's on TV these days, that it's pretty exhausting. Harry Kane was on holiday the last time I saw him, and then he was at the army barracks sort of 2 days after. So they've managed to squeeze a holiday in. Some of the
have they?
Yeah. Well, Harry Kane. Well, I'm assuming he wasn't in Essex when he posted a picture of him sort of.
They're much better behaved these days, aren't they, footballers? Do you remember sort of 5 to 10 years ago, this was the kind of season for tabloid reporters going and hiding in all these places and bringing us all sorts of hideous stories. But they all seem to be much more sensible these days, don't they?
Don Hutchison stripping and putting
a beer label
yes, on his
over his willy.
Yeah, those were the days.
They certainly were. They don't do that anymore. Right, okay. Let's start then with the Friday night game, which is at 7:45, and it is Sweden versus France. Is this a friendly or a World Cup? They're all World Cup qualifiers, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all qualifiers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Researched very hard for this one. Adrian Croak, how Paddy Power betting on Sweden v France?
So currently we've got Sweden 4-1, the draw is 12-5, and France are 8-11 here.
And are England playing France later on Tuesday?
Tuesday in a friendly. Yeah.
Okay, so is this France's to lose? Would you say, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should justify odds-on favouritism. I mean, you have a look at their squad now, and it is just incredible. Obviously, a lot of the Monaco boys like Mendy and Sidibe, the full-backs. You look at in midfield, Thomas Lemar, Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kante, and then up front you've got Giroud leads the line, and Arsenal are apparently trying to bid 50 million for somebody who can't get ahead of him in the French national team in Lacazette. But Ousmane Dembele, Mbappe as well. I mean, this is, and I'm not, Griezmann, Payet. There is so much talent in this French team.
Compare that to, I mean, you take Harry Kane out of England, and who's the best forward?
Well, you probably
Sturridge,
Rashford or Sturridge. I mean, and some of the players
they wouldn't get near that squad, would
the
they?
ones that are not in the French squad, Gamero plays for Atletico Madrid, Fekir plays for Lyon, Martial, Manchester United, Kingsley Coman at Bayern Munich. It's a hard job, Didier Deschamps, and Benzema, of course, is out for personal reasons. So it's an incredible depth to their squad. Doesn't mean that they'll absolutely thrash Sweden, but I expect them to win the game, probably narrowly.
Narrowly?
Yeah, because
what's the bet then?
Well, maybe France to win by 1 goal. I mean, they are away from home; they are odds on, so I wouldn't go too mad, but maybe France by 1.
Okay, Joe. Sweden obviously don't have Zlatan, do they? Who do they have?
Not got a lot of that. They've got some decent young players coming through, like Victor Lindelof, people like that. But they've been relying for so long on Zlatan that they're doing quite well without him actually. But they're not a patch on this France side. I think France is second string, as Mark said. They could probably give Sweden a game. Yeah, I just think France should probably win the match.
Just back France to win it. Is that the game?
I think so, yeah.
Adrian, what price of France to win the World Cup? Because it sounds like, from what the lads are saying, I mean, Mark, would you say that they're almost Europe's best chance next year?
Well, on paper, they've got the best squad at the moment. I mean, I still think Deschamps has got to get them to actually perform and get all of those individuals. Sometimes when you've got too much talent, it can become difficult because you end up having to make too many decisions, and there's more chance of you getting that wrong. And I still would say that Germany probably played like a team more. But
just about favour Germany.
Yeah, but at the price is probably France, and I think that this year France can grow. We've still got 12 months to the final.
What's the latest on the World Cup then, Adrian?
So we have France currently second fav here at 7-1, Germany 6-1, Brazil 7s, Spain 9-1, pushed out after last night's defeat, and Argentina 10s, who are struggling to qualify by the looks of it.
Blimey, alrighty. Who did Spain lose to?
And they got a late equaliser against Colombia, but it wasn't a good performance, no.
And it's Brazil. My son lives in Melbourne now, and he's said
Brazil,
that it's Brazil-Argentina at the MCG tomorrow.
It is, yeah.
So he's looking forward to that.
Well, I bet he is, yeah.
That'd be a nice treat.
He hasn't gone over there just for that, has
Not
he?
just for that. No. He went over in December, so that would have been early planning, wouldn't it? No. Let me see now. Okay, so we think Sweden, France. So have you got a view on the game, Adrian? Both the lads think France will win it?
Yeah, I think France as well here. They're definitely deserving of the odds on. Sweden will be looking to probably just get a draw and keep them in contention to qualify. I think they're 3 points ahead of Netherlands at the moment, 1 ahead of Bulgaria. If I was looking for a bet here, Lacazette and Griezmann are favourite in the first goal scorer market, but Giroud has been on fire for the national team recently, and at 4-1, he's probably worth a poke for first goal scorer.
Okay, let's have a quick chat about the World Cup. Then we had a quick show of betting there. If you're having a bet now on the World Cup, well, first of all, have you backed anyone, Mark?
No, I haven't, no.
I mean, do you know, I backed Ivory Coast just because I'm so in love with Zaha that I thought I'm going to back him just out of spite when Southgate rejected him. But who's the long shots we should be looking at? Was it Croatia? You and
Yeah, I mean Croatia, I thought did well at the Euros, even though they went out, to Portugal in a very narrow knockout game. Before that, they'd beaten Spain, probably played the best football going into the knockout stage. I mean, Modric, I thought was the best player in the Champions League final. I know Ronaldo won man of the match, always will when he scores twice, but Modric was just devastating. Mandzukic also scored in that Champions League final. Rakitic plays for Barcelona. Perisic plays for Inter. So they've got, a good level of player there, definitely. And Kramaric scored a lot of goals in the Bundesliga. So, I mean, they'd probably be the outsiders.
What price are they, Adrian, the Croatians?
Sitting here at 40s at the moment.
But,
40s.
I mean, I would say, probably, the two towards the top of the market probably would be France and Brazil, who've got.
They'd be the ones.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, Joe, who would you back for the World Cup at this stage?
I agree on France, but that Croatian side, they were really impressive at the Euros, weren't they? They just sort of, they played so well, but maybe they're not a tournament side. I don't know.
Who do you like then?
Bigger prices. I think, it's not impossible that Portugal could go close again because, they've still got Ronaldo, but they've got good young players coming through. So.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it, if they were reigning European and world champs?
They've got a lot of what you need in a knockout team. I think what Joe was saying there about Croatia not being a knockout team, that could be right, really. And Portugal are a knockout team. Yeah.
What price of Portugal, Adrian?
25s here.
25s. And who's your tip, Adrian, for the World Cup?
If you're looking at the bigger price, I'd probably looking at Chile at 33s, having won the last 2 Copa Americas.
Oh, yeah. Alexis?
Yeah, and Vidal.
Yeah. Jolly good. OK, we'll take a quick break and then we'll look back at Scotland v England.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.co.uk.
I was hearing the other day that the teams themselves, they used to all sit down, the coaches used to sit down and say, right, these are the dates we'll play on and these are the times we'll kick off. But now apparently FIFA or UEFA decide these things. Hence, Scotland v England kicks off at 5 o'clock when everyone will have been nicely oiled, let's say, hydrated, to use the Graham Taylor term. So it's going to be a lively old atmosphere, isn't it? And yeah, Scotland, England, I mean, it was always one of the massive fixtures, wasn't it? But it just seems to have crept onto most people's radars. So an interesting game, and to set the scene, Adrian gives Paddy Power's latest betting.
So we've got Scotland here at 92. The draw is 23-10 and England 7-10.
It's a really interesting test, this, isn't it, Mark? Because, I mean, Scotland is Scotland. England aren't a vintage England, but they just seem to mop up in the qualifiers. What's your verdict?
I think that Scotland were unlucky when they lost 3-0 at Wembley. It was never a 3-0 game, and Scotland had chances in that match to definitely. I think it was at 1-0 they had chances, and then England, the scoreline wasn't really a just on the performance. I was looking at the goals in this game and going over 2.5. I mean, Scotland have only lost 2 of their last 14 at home, and they've scored in each of their last 12. So, and if you have a look back to previous meetings, since 2013, 3 meetings, 12 goals. I think Scotland will feel obliged to have a go at England, and actually England on the counter-attack with the pace they've got in forward areas could do some damage once again. That's what they did at Wembley. They got the early goal and then were able to hit on the break. So I think it might actually be a decent spectacle.
Good overs for you. What price are overs, Adrian?
We've got 5-4 for the overs.
5-4, that do you, Mark?
Yeah. I mean, obviously internationals tend to be low scoring, but this isn't this isn't sort of a game where teams are going to be playing keep ball, is it? It'll be
no.
Premier League style.
Frenetic,
Yeah,
won't
it'll be
it?
Premier League.
How many miles an hour will they be playing
it has to be played at 100, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was thinking 90. Champ, what do you think will happen?
I've pretty much on the same thoughts as Mark, really. I was at that game at Wembley, and I thought England's defence was really, they were very, very lucky not to concede. I mean, there were so many big gaps in the defence. The Scottish players, they missed so many good chances that they could easily have been a sort of 3-2 sort of game. And, England, their last away game in the qualifiers was in Slovenia, and they were very, very shaky that day. Joe Hart had an absolute blinder in goal. And
It's not a sentence we hear too much these days.
We don't see a lot of him these days over here. But I think not overs is one I consider, but BTS is 11-10. Both teams to score.
Both teams to score 11-10. Blimey, this is good. The lads are making it sound like it's going to be a decent game. Adrian, what's your view? First of all, as an Irishman, what do you do when Scotland play England? Who do you support?
You'd probably be going for Scotland there, but I can't say I'm going to sit down and watch the game.
All right then. Fair enough. Have you got a view on who's going to win?
Yeah, I do think England probably do have too much for Scotland. Now, again, anytime you kind of read the reviews of England away or even England in qualifying this season, they win their games. They're never too convincing. Probably go against the lads and take like a 1-0 England victory.
Righty-ho. And also at 5 o'clock on Saturday, I shouldn't think the TV audience for this will be particularly massive outside of Northern Ireland, but obviously very big there. Azerbaijan versus Northern Ireland. And how do you bet, Adrian?
Azerbaijan here at 12-5. The draw is 2-1 and Northern Ireland's 5-4.
Mark, what do you reckon?
I'm very annoyed here because Paddy Power opened up 4-6 no on the both teams to score. I think it's into 4-7 now. I still think, I mean, both teams, that bet, both teams to score, hasn't copped in Northern Ireland's last 14 matches.
Really?
Yeah, it's an incredible run. Where
Sorry, the last 14 Northern Ireland matches, BTTS has not obliged once.
That's correct, yeah. I mean,
O'Reilly.
they usually win to 0 or lose to 0, which makes sense really when they're...
They have a draw 0-0.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are occasions when they do, and this could be one of those because the heat, apparently, Michael O'Neill was... he was frustrated and annoyed that this game was being played in June. He felt they got the worst of the luck of the draw in terms of having to go to...
What's the capital? Baku, isn't
Baku,
it?
yeah. I mean, he was...
Let's get a live weather forecast.
He was saying it was sort of in the 30s, even though it's going to be sort of a reasonably late kickoff time, local time. So, and even if it cools down, the humidity...
34.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not great. So I think it is going to be low scoring. Even at the 4-7, not a price I usually sort of be advising sort of this kind of market. I think it's a decent runner. Maybe under 1.5 or even no goal scorer would be other options available.
Okay, so Mark thinks whereas Scotland v England will be entertaining in a goal fest, he's got Azerbaijan v Northern Ireland as absolute turgid. What about you then, champ?
Yeah, similar sort of line, really. Northern Ireland beat them 4-0 in Belfast, but... I don't expect it to be anything like as emphatic. I still maybe favour Northern Ireland to win. So the one I like is just Northern Ireland to win 1-0. 9-2 seems reasonable.
Keep it
really.
nice and simple.
Yeah.
You think they can do it on a sweaty afternoon in Baku?
Quite possibly.
Yeah?
I mean, I looked at under 1.5 goals. It's 5-4. I mean, there's no value there. So
right then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Adrian, you've been studying this one long and hard.
Yeah, I've been reading up all the Azerbaijani players here to try and pick a goal scorer bet, but can't seem to pick one if it's going to be that low scoring. Hard game to judge. You do see teams tire when they go out to these kind of areas after a long haul flight, humid areas. I would be with the unders as well on this and maybe go for the draw 2-1.
I'll tell you what, let's do a quick quiz on Mark's knowledge. How many, this is for Champ and Adrian, how many Azerbaijan players do you think he can name in 10 seconds? What do you reckon? Joe?
3.
3, okay, right. Time starts now.
No, I don't think I know any of them.
You don't know any Azerbaijan players?
Not off the top of my head.
Must have all played against Tottenham for
Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't remember any of their names.
Yeah.
I mean, Prozinecki was the manager, so I mean,
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
I
love
mean,
Prozinecki.
that's
Prozinecki.
about as far as my knowledge will go on Azerbaijan.
Well, if you don't know any, Mark, nobody does. Right, competition time every week. Our sponsors, Paddy Power, give listeners the chance to win a £25 or €25 free bet. There's also a competition on the racing show, racing review show every Monday with Maddie, and also here on the football show every Thursday. All you have to do is answer the question and tweet your answer using the hashtag Postcast. Last week's winner is Joe Walsh from Dublin, who correctly answered that Huddersfield won the Championship playoff. He stayed awake long enough to get to the conclusion of that awful encounter. The question today, if you want a free bet, is who scored Juve's only goal in Saturday's Champions League final? The winner will be announced next Thursday. We've got a football... Oh, yeah, we've got a Confederations Cup special next Thursday, haven't we? God, can't wait for that. Right, the winner will have their free bet credited to their Paddy Power account, and you can open an account at paddypower.com.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleware.co.uk.
OK, welcome back. Bruce Millington, Mark Langdon, Joe Champion and Paddy Powers. Adrian Croak are looking ahead to Sunday's live games. And here's one that Adrian and producer Jack will be very excited about. Kicks off at 5 o'clock in Dublin. It's Ireland versus Austria. How are you betting, Adrian?
So I've got Ireland here, Favs, at 6-4. The draw is 2-1 and Austria 2-1 as well.
Pretty close. Champ, we'll start with you. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I think Ireland can win the game. I think they're doing really well in the group at the moment. This Austrian team were really fancied at the Euros, and they did absolutely nothing. They really didn't deliver, and it looks like there's not their confidence. I think they've won one match so far, or they've won two. Sorry, they've beaten Georgia and Moldova, which is, Georgia are half decent, but Moldova are nothing really. Yeah, and Ireland, they had a decent warm-up last week against Uruguay. Admittedly, Uruguay are missing a couple of players, but yeah, I think they're in a good position. They should win the game.
OK, so what's the tip?
Just Ireland to win, 6-4.
Ireland to win at 6-4, keeping it simple. Lango?
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised by Austria's inept performances at the Euros, but they haven't improved since then, really. It's only 2 wins in their last 11 matches, and some of their players, Baumgartlinger, Dragovic, that were at Leverkusen, have had absolute stinkers of a domestic campaign. Ilsanker of Red Bull Leipzig's not playing. Arnautovic is out of the squad as well. So I don't even think they're at full strength. And Ireland are not pretty, and they do terrible on the stats because they just let the opposition have the ball. They don't have many shots, but they are very effective at what they do. And I agree. I expected Ireland to be a little bit shorter in the market. I mean, if you wanted to play it cautiously, maybe the draw no bet, but I'm not sure a draw does Austria too many favours. So and they're quite an open team, so I think that will suit Ireland. They've already won away. They can win at home as well.
Brilliant. 2 votes for the boys in green. I suspect it's going to be 3, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, kind of have to say patriotic here. As he said, Austria, they really do. They can't afford any more slip-ups if they have any hope of qualifying. So they're probably going to be pushing on, leaving themselves open at the back. So some of the speedier players in Ireland's team might be worth a bet in the goal scorers. So McLean is currently 9-1 first goal scorer, and Robbie Brady's at 10s, who will also be on pens and free kicks. So could be worth a poke there as well.
Are you going?
I'm actually not going. No, this will be one of the few competitive games I'd miss.
Oh no, how come?
I completely forgot about the weekend that was coming up after the arrangement, and I've made plans to go away.
Oh no, where are you off to?
Off to East Anglia.
East Anglia, blimey O'Reilly, what are you doing there?
Just going visiting. As being an Irishman, I know plenty living over in England that's emigrated, so going visiting one.
Oh wow, whereabouts?
Chelmsford.
Chelmsford, yeah, Essex. Chelmsford, Essex. It's just about East Anglia, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think people from sort of London, Essex wouldn't call it East Anglia.
No.
We'd be thinking sort of Clacton, Norwich, Ipswich way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it probably does just about where it starts. Yeah, Chelmsford's quite nice.
Yeah, very close to you, Mark,
Oh,
isn't
it is,
it?
yeah. Pop
Perhaps
in for a
you
cup of tea.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? OK, the other game on Sunday of interest is 7:45, and it's Serbia versus Wales. How do we bet here, Adrian?
Serbia are Favs at 3-4. The draw here is 12-5, and Wales are 4-1.
OK, Mark, you can go first this time.
Yeah, I was looking Serbia win to 0 as the bet for me. I mean, Serbia have been conceding a lot of goals in qualifying, but they shouldn't be really. Like Ivanovic and Kolarov and Nastasic and Matic in their team. Miljovic, your boy as well, that did very nicely when he came into the Premier League.
Yeah,
so,
we like him.
I mean, you got him and Matic sort of holding the midfield. It should be quite decent. Now, of course, Wales are missing Gareth Bale through suspension, which takes a lot of their goals out of their team, and it's a game that Wales can't afford to lose. But I think they need to win, and I'm not sure that they will without Bale. Serbia to win to 0 would a low-scoring game. I can't see Serbia sort of the goals per game average they've got at the moment being maintained. So a low-scoring Serbian win.
Serbia to win to 0 for Mark. Who for you, champ?
Yeah, I like Serbia as well. Probably just to win the match, really. Wales will definitely struggle without Bale. He clearly is their main man, even though they've got some decent players. Serbia have probably got a few more decent players in their side. And, they had a disaster qualifying for the Euros. I think they got 4 points overall, and they've just said, right, that's it. New man came in, really experienced. I won't pretend I can pronounce his first name. No, I won't try it.
Go on.
Slavoljub, I think. Slavoljub Muslin is the.
Muslin, Muslin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's come in and they've done quite well so far, and they're top in the group. I think, Serbia just to win the game.
Serbia just to win the game. Adrian, have you got a bet for us?
Yeah, I'd be going with Serbia here as well. I mean, I saw Ireland versus Serbia in Serbia, and we robbed the draw of them, really completely undeserved. Wales without Bale are a different team altogether, so I'd have to be picking Serbia in this one.
Okay, there's a lot of agreeing on this postcast. Hopefully you will all be absolutely right. Let's get the weekend's best bets.
This will not be beaten.
I literally don't have one. Mark, I hope you do.
I can't pretend I'm going to be Matt's betting, but I do like, not going to be, you were talking about viewing figures earlier on, Moldova versus Georgia certainly won't be high up on the on those ratings.
No,
but
the half and half scarf salesman will do it in there.
I quite like Georgia. Moldova are just a terrible, terrible team that are almost getting down to the levels of Andorra.
The Liechtensteins.
Well,
of this
I think
world,
even lower than that. I'm sort of thinking. I mean, they lose sort of almost as often as Andorra and San Marino. They're kind of the only teams they beat now. Moldova. Sort of 10 years ago they were okay, but they've got a lot worse. Georgia have played really well in this World Cup qualifying campaign. They outplayed Ireland and got absolutely robbed. They were the better team against Wales and drew against them. They were unlucky to lose to Serbia, who scored with every shot they had on target. They didn't beat Moldova at home. They were 1-0 up, conceded a late goal. They are a lot better. They are a better team, and I quite like them. Yeah.
What price are they?
They were round about the 8-5 mark earlier on in the week. I'm hoping the price hasn't disappeared too much.
Okay, Mark thinks Moldova will be rolled over.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Bruce. I ruined your joke.
Timing. Joe, what you got?
Poland are playing Romania at home, and they beat them 3-0 in Bucharest earlier in the campaign. And we talked about the Euros. Poland were really good. They lost on penalties against Portugal. You know, that after Portugal went on to win the tournament doesn't look like bad form. And I think they're quite short to win the match, but maybe on the handicap, either Asian handicap or -1 in general. -1 in general is 13-8, so that'll do me.
Okie doke. What price have you got, Georgia, Adrian?
Georgia were... can't see what day
Mark
they're playing
saw
on.
a bit of 8-5 early.
It's on Sunday, that
it's
one.
on Sunday, apparently.
Sunday. Georgia are 11-8.
11-8. Oh, it's been a bit of a cut.
Yeah, it's
still happy with that?
Yeah, it's okay. I knew the price was coming in.
Adrian, what's your bet of the weekend?
Not to go too short, but Gibraltar are by far the worst team that I think I've ever seen play international football, and you can actually get Cyprus at 1-6, but maybe take the handicap here where you get Cyprus -2 at 13-10.
Okay, fair
There
enough.
might be a way here, but still, it's Gibraltar.
All right, then. Now, listen, has anyone dipped their toes into the 2017-2018 anti-post waters yet and had a bet? Mark?
There's three I like. Blackburn at the top of the League One market. I think that Tony Mowbray is very confident he's going to have a budget to do the business there. In League Two, I think Luton are being underrated.
Everyone likes Mansfield.
Well,
there,
I mean, Mansfield have bought a lot of players and they are spending. They've got a decent budget. They've been buying from League One, but Luton. I mean, their form, they were the fourth best team in it last season. I think each way, I'm struggling to see sort of three better teams than them for next season. And one at a massive price, Bury, in League One. I'm not sure the money will stay in the club, so you might want to back them for relegation as well. But the way they're going at the moment, Beckford up front with James Vaughan is really good. The sort of prices we're getting here. They've just signed Adam Thompson, the really good centre-back from Southend. He was attracting interest from championship teams. They've offered him a 3-year deal, so unsurprisingly, he's gone there. Dawson has gone from Scunthorpe. They're definitely spending money. I'm not sure it's theirs to spend, but around about sort of. I mean, they range from about 20-1 to 50-1 in League One. Certainly at the upper end of that market.
Interesting.
You'll get a run.
Okay, good. Joe, what do you like?
I quite like Norwich in the Championship. I thought they finished the season quite well. They've got a new man in charge, which is a little bit risky, but if they buy well, they've definitely got goals in the side, and I think they can definitely give it a good go getting promoted next season.
Okay, I've backed Sheffield United at 40s for the Championship. I don't see a dominant team in there particularly.
No.
And I think you have got a few teams that have done well coming up from League One.
Well, I mean, would they get
down
100
straight through.
points?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. The manager seems decent, doesn't he? So that's my one. What about you, Adrian? Any dabbles yet?
I haven't dabbled in anything yet, but I am looking a bit towards Romelu Lukaku. I know he might have hurt some hearts here.
Don't. Oh, you're opening up very, very fresh wounds there with that one, aren't you? What?
Yeah.
Lukaku for the boot?
For the boot this year, I mean, he'll probably be playing at a team that's not going to give up with 5 or 6 games left to play next year. So 5-1 might be.
Have you priced it up already, or is that a one-off special?
No, the market's priced up there. Harry
go on
Kane
then,
is
give us a
sitting there
blast.
at Fav. Harry Kane 11-4, Lukaku 5-1, Aguero 5s, Costa, if he's still there, will be 6-1, and Gabriel Jesus 7s with Alexis Sanchez at 10s.
Excellent. God, I'm getting excited already, aren't you?
Not over the Premier League Golden Boot. Those wounds are still very fresh, as you say. I'll come back to that.
You need
one
a good
in-
break before we get looking at next year, don't you?
Well, yeah,
we start working on the pull-out quite soon,
I
don't
got
we?
massively lucky in the Champions League Golden Boot, so these things do even themselves out with Ronaldo coming from absolutely nowhere to win that one. I mean, he trailed Messi by about 9 going into the last few matches or something stupid like that.
That's astonishing. I didn't
Hat-tricks
know he'd
against
done
Bayern Munich,
He
Atletico
went about
Madrid.
8 months without a goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he went. It was ridiculous in the Champions League. He was so far behind, and I backed him because I had a soft group. He hardly scored in the group, and then got all his goals against Bayern Munich, Atletico, and Juventus, which is ridiculous, really.
Incredible. Okay, thank you very much, chaps. Like I say, if you want to win a £25 or €25 free bet, just text us. Oh no, don't text us. Tweet using the hashtag Postcast telling us who scored Juventus' only goal in the Saturday Champions League final. We will announce the winner next Thursday when we're looking ahead to the Confederations Cup. Are you in that one, Mark?
I am, yeah.
Are you back for that one, champ, or have
I
we not named our
don't think
team
so.
yet?
I think Dan Childs might be coming in.
Brilliant.
For that
Well,
one.
if anyone can point you towards Confederations Cup winner, it will be those two guys. And don't forget, if you do enjoy listening to our shows, please go on to iTunes and rate the Postcards. We'll see you next week.
Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs, or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty!